This is a day. This is join in, Stevie. The day that we win away, that we win away, we will rejoice.
Hamish, it's late for me, and I've not had my Weetabix yet. I'll be having that tomorrow morning. You've clearly had yours, so I'm not going to discourage you for having some fun. So carry on.
You're not going to discourage me, but you're just not going to bother. Stevie, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing, mate. It's been tough. It's been a tough period to support Celtic, but tonight was amazing. We won one of our. It's a mad thing to say. One of our best away results this century, certainly since Martin O'Neill left in 2005. I know that says more about how dire we've been away from home and I guess in Europe generally. But yeah, Feyenoord won Celtic 3. I know Feyenoord are struggling, but that was amazing. Even you must be happy.
I'm totally unexpected, and yeah, I predicted we could beat 3-1 tonight. I didn't think we had a hope at all. I know Feyenoord have had their struggles, and Van Persie's under pressure. They've come off they were already below us in the table, and they come off a terrible result at the weekend. But I still didn't think that we could go there and get a result. So yeah, really, really pleasantly surprised at that. And I think furthermore now, it gives us something to play for in the last 3 games, because I thought they were going to be dead rubbers. But it's blew it wide open now. Again, it's just down to the work done by Martin O'Neill and the belief that he's installed in the team.
He's Martin O'Neill. He's Martin O'Neill.
So much so that he's actually, Yang was Jota tonight. It was incredible. Do you know, I will get onto that quickly. Remember when we saw Bobby Peta against Rangers and how he played in that first season? A guy that was written off the season before and
where are you going with this?
Well, I was just saying because the confidence and the belief that Martin O'Neill installed in Bobby Peta back then, and he's did that to Yang tonight. That was again. What I say though, we have seen it before with Yang. I understand that, you know what I mean. I don't get carried away. Seen it before with Yang, where he's been a world beater, and then he goes up against a Dundee or St Johnstone or something, and he's abysmal, right? So it's one game at a time stuff. But I thought his performance was outstanding, and you wouldn't have got that from him a few weeks ago. And it's just down to the work that Martin O'Neill's done. It's been tremendous.
Yes, indeed. Right, just before we get properly started, a big thanks to Practical CBT for sponsoring today's show. Simple support for men's mental health. So get involved with them. All the links are in the description, everyone. They've got great offers on at the moment for you as a Celtic AM listener or viewer. Team-wise, Steve, it was an interesting team, wasn't it?
I like this. I like that. I don't need to go in my Google Notes app. You've actually got it right in front of me. That's handy. That's brilliant. Very nice, Hamish.
Yeah. Usually when we're doing this, Stevie has to go to the trouble of moving his head downwards so that he has to look at his notes, whereas we've made it really great for
such a struggle.
A lazy guy like yourself. I should just say, everyone watching this, nothing has changed for them, but we do have the team on screen for Stevie at the moment. A wee peek behind the curtain, if you will. Anyway, Stevie, talk us through the team. What were you thinking? Luke McCowan played right wing, and he actually, I probably wasn't saying this after 20 minutes, but he ended up doing pretty well.
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me was Donovan back in. No Ralston, who has been winding up a lot of fans, including myself recently. But I think quite interesting. I'm going to come on to Donovan and also Dave Murray a wee bit later, after all the chat about them and a few weeks ago compared to now. But sticking with the team, that was the most glaring omission. It was Anthony Ralston, and yeah, it was definitely deserved. But when I saw Yang, I wasn't too surprised with Yang, I've got to say, because I thought when he came on against St Mirren, we were driving at St Mirren more, and our end product was slightly better against them. I think Tenecte again flattered to deceive against them, and it was also the fact he had 3 players on him at all times. I think Mark O'Neill's actually clocked onto that, whereas players maybe won't do that to Yang, and that takes them by surprise, because that's what we got tonight. And I thought McCowan as well, obviously he's missed aside, but he showed some very nice touches, and wasn't terrible at all. But before the game, when I saw the team in the front 3, I was like, away to Feyenoord, think we can go there and get a win with that. I was sceptical, but this is why I'm a loudmouth in a bedroom here, Hamish, and I'm not leading the team over in Rotterdam, isn't it?
I mean, Yang was getting pelters in our group chat early on in the game, wasn't he? And it was kind of the most Yang thing ever to pop up with a goal after that. But he ended up being like a real threat as that game went on. I mean, he's clearly, I think the one thing we've discovered about Yang and we know about Yang by now is he's like such a confidence player. And when things are going well, either for the team or for him personally, he can look like a good player. You know, he picks up good areas, he drifts past players, like he's a decent dribbler, and he can chip in with goals as well. I think, as you say, the difficulty is maybe when things are a bit tougher. Starting games generally is not quite as good, and you know when finding consistency as well has been an issue for him. So I'm not going to make any big claims here. I'm just not doing it. I still don't particularly think Yang should be around starting games for Celtic, but he was good tonight, and he'll always be a part of a big win we had in Rotterdam. Luke McCowan was on the right. He's not a winger, but he did quite well. Dyson worked hard. Midfield was excellent. I thought, was that one of Arnie Engels' best games of the season? One of Rio Hatate's best games of the season?
Definitely. Hatate was my man of the match. We done with a goal as well as an assist. But I think more importantly, Hamish, we've seen with Hatate, especially in recent weeks, months even, that he is so frustrating. We're giving the ball away and being lackadaisical. But I wanted to note that he's accurate. I mean, he only gave the ball away like you're talking about 5 times, 40 out of 45 passes accurate. And in his own half, it was 100% pass accuracy, and 6 out of 8 of his long balls were accurate too. So again, he was taking far more care in possession. And see, when he is doing that, we actually control games more, and that's what you saw tonight. Like, it wasn't just like a smash and grab. Like, we controlled large parts of that game, and I must say, and I've been a critic, but Hatate was outstanding tonight. And I think, see, when he's disciplined and again, when he's taking care of the ball, that's what you get. And we've been crying out for that for such a long time with Hatate. An exceptional performance for him. And again, I've been somebody who has been a mouthy critic of him, but he totally shut us up tonight. And again, if he can play like that going forward, that was like reminiscent of him under like Ange Postecoglou again tonight. Really, really great display. And when you move on to Arnie Engels as well, quite similar, 88% sort of accurate passing. Again, he really kept control of the ball, wasn't like wasting possession. And I think the fact that Rio Hatate and Arnie Engels, who've came in for a lot of criticism, especially against teams who are really physical, the two of them have went into like their shell basically. But tonight they really stood up, and maybe it was because Feyenoord were doing what we see like teams in the Premier doing. You know, when it is just a case of hit as hard as possible, let them know you're there, all the cliches, and they're get in, slamming into these players, and then sometimes they don't react to it very well. But I think Feyenoord were sitting off us, and that allowed us to play our game. I think that's a big part of it. Now, we are getting into that game on Sunday, Easter Road. I don't expect Hatate and Engels to get anywhere near that amount of time in the ball. You know that's not going to be the same game, but you know, if they can adapt to that, great. But I think tonight was really just good for their confidence, because they have been like hammered in recent weeks, and two of them all get into that game at Easter Road absolutely buzzing, because as you say, Hamish, it's been Cal McGregor in midfield and under Martin O'Neill that's really been holding it together. But see, tonight it was all about Hatate and Engels, and they really do deserve a lot of praise, especially getting away to a fairly tough opponent and performing like that.
I think you're right, though. I think they have to back it up on Sunday now, and that's been the criticism. I think, especially with Arnie Engels, is that like he's not able to find consistency in his performances and back up good displays. So you're going to go with that same midfield on Sunday, and yeah, it's like they played brilliantly tonight. Like, they were excellent. I thought we had real control of the game, which is something I feel like we've not even had that in a lot of domestic away games this season, like real control. And here we were, okay, Feyenoord are struggling, we know all that, but you're still playing a a pretty good European side. Champions League last year, Europa League this year, second in the Eredivisie. Decent players, international players, and yeah, like we were moving the ball around at midfield. There's wee triangles. It looked to me for the first time in a long time in a big game that the midfield was functioning well. Like it looked like they had an understanding of where each other were. Engels, just to pick up on him, I said it was his best game of the season, potentially his best Celtic game all in. Like I thought he was excellent. He was everywhere. He was picking up on loose balls around the pitch. He was, moving the ball quickly when he got it. He was getting out his feet and switching it. He loves that one out to the right hand side to, Luke McCowan or whoever else is out there. Nearly scored with a free kick as well. It was a good effort. Hatate got his goal. So, yeah, really, really good stuff. And they just need to build on it now. But I know things have seemed quite bleak recently, but I think it is just a reminder that I know we're missing a lot of players, but we do still have good players there. Certainly at domestic level, players that should be able to go and effectively win any match we play in. And I think with Wilfried Nancy coming in next week, you hope that it's going to be guys like Engels with a fresh start under a new manager who can, really flourish. That's my hope, is that Nancy can get the best out of guys like Engels, and I guess Hatate's a bit further down the line. He's probably going to be off, at some point over the next 12 months. Like even guys like Bernardo, potentially. I just think it's a reminder that things can change quite quickly. We've kind of spoken about the game, but we went behind, didn't we? It was Austin Trusty was stepping out, and then he was exploited, and really fearing the worst at that stage, going 1-0 down. I think I maybe even put a message into some daft group chat saying that it could be a 4 or 5-0, because I genuinely felt like losing an early goal, would the team have the motivation, to be able to get back into the game? Feyenoord finally getting a bit of confidence together, tough game away from home. I genuinely feared it was going to be one of those kind of horror nights we've had. So it's a huge credit to the team that they came back after going behind.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest with you, like I know you said that, but look at what happened in Denmark. One goal and then the second one, quick fire third, can happen. And remember as well, I think the last time we went to Feyenoord, I think we were in a pretty good place under Brendan Rodgers. We conceded a daft goal, didn't we, just before half time, and then the heads just completely sunk. Like we held out to the end back then, and you think after he's conceded one after 10 minutes, that it was just going to be all downhill for there. But no, the team really rallied and got that together. And I think, again, I know we've already touched on him, but Real Hatate, the run that he makes to get into space, to pick up McCown's wee pass, different class, really good, and the ball over the top. And I thought Yang's finish was quite underrated too, because it was only the one sort of area that he could actually put it in. I think when you're looking back at it, the goalkeeper's maybe not covering themselves in glory at that near post, but it was literally the only place that Yang could put it. So I deserves a bit of credit for that one. I was just going to, I don't know where you want to start talking with, or if I can bring up a point about Kobe Donovan, if you had a minute.
Yeah, go for it.
But it was all basically about, we heard about Kobe Donovan after the Hearts game, 3-1, Kazarides took him in the cleaners. Like that game, he was shocking. And I seen a lot of comments saying that he might not recover from it. Dane Murray as well, like their Celtic careers could be over, and it's a case of, I know that Ralston may not be the answer, but he's head and shoulders above like Kobe Donovan, for example. I was reading a lot of the comments. Well, I think in a stadium like that, at that level for Kobe Donovan, after again that Hearts game where he put in a bit of a terrible performance, like tonight when I was looking at his stats too, Hamish, very positive with the interceptions, clearances, but most importantly, won every ball in there and won the majority of his duels too. But again, it's not to be sniffed at all up against Sawyer on the left, so I think that'll do him the world of good. And again, with Dane Murray too, like when he came on now, again, I know against Hearts, total shocker. I'm not saying let's get him into the team for the next few weeks because he's got a long way to go. But I just think it was good for their confidence. Like, for him to come on, there would have been a lot of groans, for example, right? Especially I think they were 2-1 up at the time. And at that point, we were being pretty resilient. We had to weather a storm. And by the way, I think when I turned round and I said, I think we might get a result here, because see the chances that they missed, one off the bar, two by the post, and I think there was even one that they thought maybe might have been a handball. The fact that that didn't go to VAR and wasn't checked, I thought, see, in one of the past games we've had in this campaign, how many of them would have went in, or that would have been a penalty, or that one off the bar would have went to one of their players or something. It was just, thought a luck was in that respect. But for Dave Murray to be a part of that defence, come on, the fact that we still kept it at 2-1 and then went on up the park to add a third, I think that would have been good for him too. So again, I just want to be clear that I'm defending these guys because the confidence would have taken a hammering. And I think that was a really good performance from them both, in a difficult sort of circumstance to come into and come away victorious. So that'll be good for them, and going forward for that, you would hope that'll do them the world a good, Hamish.
The goals, I mean, Nygren's goal was a great finish. I feel like he loves that off the crossbar and in, but we've seen him miss a few chances like that as well. But the minute that went in, you just knew it was the game was over. And as a famous victory, Stevie? Am I over hyping things? I mean, it's 3-1 away to Feyenoord. I mean, it's a hell of a result.
Well, the first away win in 4 years, isn't it? Since Ferencvaros, 3-2.
There's Lazio before then, I think, in terms of the group stage or whatever.
Famous. I'm hoping that we do kick on from it and we don't let it get to our heads. Remember in the COVID season, like, we had some good results. Okay, we were 2-0 up, drawn away to Lille, who went on to win the league. Like, that was a big result. We also beat them at Celtic Park, but then it was almost like when we played in the Europa, it was like kind of taking the pressure off us of the intensity of the league campaign, and we played with so much fear in the games after that. It was almost like the Europa League was like a welcome break from it. So I hope it's not like that, and we go into that game with a bit of a swagger and arrogance, also well respected Hibs, because it's going to be really difficult. But I hope we don't go back into our shell when the game starts frantic and intense and there's going to be some like late tackles, because we're not going to be doing that. So yeah, what was I saying? I forget there. Oh, I know what I was going to mention, by the way. Martin O'Neill too. I think, remember we were saying it just before we came on, a 3-1 win in Dutch soil back in 2001, and now that's some going, isn't it?
But because I was looking back and I was thinking it would be amazing if that was his first European game and then his last, but it wasn't, was it? It was a previous season under him.
Helsinki. Oh no, Bordeaux as well.
Yeah. So I was thinking that would have just been too perfect if it had been bookended by 3-1 wins in Europe. I want to chat about Martin O'Neill in a wee second. Just first of all, another wee graphic for you, Stevie. League table. So we're 21st now. It's a huge result in terms of the Europa League, because it's given us a real chance of making the knockouts, which I had kind of written off, to be honest, maybe wrongly, but people will be wondering how many points you need. So we've got 7 at the moment. Last season, 10 got, I think there was 6 or 7 teams that finished on 10 points last season in the Europa League, and 2 of them missed out in the top 24. The rest went through. So 11 should guarantee it. 10 might get us there. Goal difference, we're -1 at the moment, so we might need to work on that. But yeah, Utrecht at home, you'd fancy winning that. Nothing for granted, of course. Roma at home, could we get a draw in that? Bologna away, could we get a draw in that? It's opened up a bit now, Stevie.
Yeah, definitely. Bologna, well, they point ahead of us. Roma 2 ahead, and Utrecht are languishing down in 32nd, and they've not even won. So I would fancy our chances there. But I was saying that's what 9 points to play for, and realistically, you're saying like you can get to the knockouts with 10. Like, I don't see why we can't get 4 points. I mean, I think we could beat Utrecht and look for a draw against like Roma or something. Now, again, people are saying Celtic Park and should be looking to beat Roma, but I mean, look what we've done in Glasgow recently as well. They're top of Serie A, I think, just now. I know. Man. Okay, I know. But I'm just saying, they'll be coming full of confidence, and they're doing very, very well under Gasperini. in Serie A just now. Really, really good side. So,
but it's a big game now. That like that. I mean,
yeah,
Wilfred Nancy's going to be in charge. Like that's going to be a big night at Celtic Park, which is we've needed that for a while.
Aye, I mean, what the very fact, Hamish, that we are in contention now for a knockout stage. It's a knockout, tie is great. Again, it's a bare minimum. Sorry, it's not great. It's something that we should be looking for anyway. But after the way the season had started and the way the results had sort of went and progressed, I was thinking of, we're going to be out with the 24 here. But now we've got a really good chance of it now. So I would say 10 points is more than achievable here. And I'm looking at Utrecht, and you're targeting the 3 there, and certainly get a point for our next couple of games is more than doable. So yeah, it's, as you say, the Roma game now is like that threatened to be one of the classic dead rubbers, mid-December game where you're just like one of the ones you're thinking they're turn up to their border, and now people will pack Celtic Park for that. That'll be massive, won't it? So good for the fans, good for the club, especially now when we're needing as much competitive games as possible, because it really did look like a few weeks ago as if we were just going to be sort of going from one dead rubber to another in this competition.
And maybe a few words for Martin O'Neill, who was it now 5 wins from 6. Clearly, we've got the last dance on Sunday against Hibernian. I know you'll be buzzing for all that pattern on social media over the next couple of days. Martin O'Neill's last dance, but where we're at the moment, I think I was chatting to John on the Celtic Way, I think it was earlier in the week. If we do go on to have a successful season here under Wilfred Nancy in terms of winning the league and, whatever cups, Martin O'Neill will have played a big part in that, I think, because when he took over from Brendan Rodgers, nothing was guaranteed. Like, you think of the games at the end of the Brendan Rodgers regime, the defeats to Dundee, defeat to Hearts, the home one against Braga. There was loads of really, really kind of dire nights there. And I know we had Midfield, and that was really disappointing. But Midfield are, still top, I think, even though they lost tonight. I think they lost to Roma, actually, didn't they? Apart from that, he's won every game. And this is with a team with all of these injuries that was struggling for confidence. He's just a bit of a genius, Martin O'Neill.
Absolutely hero. The best Celtic manager in my lifetime. It gave me unbelievable memories growing up. And he has set the standard for me as a Celtic supporter, which is why a lot of people maybe watching this channel thinking why can I always demand more in recent years with Celtic. It's because I grew up watching Martin O'Neill hammer teams week after week. And yes, the times have changed and budgets have changed too, but fundamentally Celtic have always been the same. We're expected to win every week. And other managers has maybe seemed like a chore. Martin O'Neill didn't. It was such an enjoyable 5 years, even in the seasons where we didn't win anything, but that Seville season, I don't want to harp on like glorious failure, but it was just a special time, Hamish, for me. A really important time in my life too. And what he's done to stabilise Celtic in a time of real crisis can be understated. You're right, it does deserve serious... it deserves to be remembered and thought of very highly at the end of the season if we go on to be successful. But yeah, I think the key thing for what he's done, that he was able to do like 25 years ago as well, is just the fact that he's never lost that ability to just give that players just an extra sort of belief and confidence. And, even if they're struggling, and even if there's players that have been unfancied, for example, just you wonder that in the dressing room, what he's able to say and how he's able to convey his message across to these players, that they actually would run through a brick wall for him, or even more importantly, just believe in themselves a bit more. And that's what was the key difference tonight. That was the key difference in going to Hampden and getting that win over extra time against Rangers after conceding that late goal. The 2 wins that we've had in the league where we've actually made them look routine, when in the past under the previous manager we might have huffed and puffed away to like a 1-0 win or something, probably got a last minute penalty knowing the way that we were. So, and also the weekend wasn't pretty, but I do believe that goal by Callum McGregor's such a significant moment in the season. And again, the manager plays a huge part in it, but the fact that it's probably telling them to keep going, believe in themselves, and they do. So, yeah, and it's incredible what he's done, and not an easy job at all with a squad. And more importantly, he's made it look easy. I can't speak more highly of him. I don't think there's a lot of Celtic fans out there that would be able to criticise Martin O'Neill. It's been an incredible job that he's done, and I really hope that on Sunday, look, if we don't get a result on Sunday, doesn't change anything about what he's achieved in these last few weeks at Celtic and how he's answered the call and galvanised the club again. The club isn't perfect, and it's not in the state me and you want it to be in, but certainly on the park, he's just it's like the cracks aren't as evident, and yeah, I really hope that he can get the result on Sunday to sign off, which to actually enhance his legacy would be something, because it never even needed done in the first place. But it's the fact that he could do that would be some feat, and I really hope that he does the job on Sunday.
Again, I wonder if that's part of the motivation for Sunday. Certainly for some of the players, guys like Callum McGregor, hopefully telling the dressing room, Sean Maloney hopefully doing it as well, saying, Martin O'Neill's a legend of this club. This is going to be, I know there's no certainties in life, but this is going to be his final ever game in charge of Celtic until we sack Wilfred Nancy next season and Dermot brings him back for another 5-game period. But it seems like he's going to be, this time, finally, his final game as Celtic manager. You want him to go out as a winner as well. So, yeah. Sunday, I mean, you could argue how much does it actually matter. Martin O'Neill's stuff, as we've said, his legacy's sorted, was sorted, still is sorted. The more important thing, and he says himself, is us winning the game on Sunday just for the league. But yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't think part of me really wants us to win for Martin O'Neill so that he goes out as a winner like he did first time round. I mean, I'm just thinking, because obviously Wilfred Nancy, and there's chat he's going to be at Easter Road on Sunday, which is interesting. Good that he'll be there and get to see the team in action in the flesh, and then possibly announce early next week. There's an outside chance it could be today as people are watching. We'll wait and see. I'm just wondering if he'll chat to Martin O'Neill. Even, I mean, I don't expect there to be any sort of official role for Martin O'Neill at Celtic. I think he'll probably want to go back down south and get on with his life. But yeah, I hope that he's there as a sounding board for Wilfred Nancy. I think that would make a lot of sense. I also hope that Sean Maloney's kept around, I think, in the coaching team. I know Wilfred Nancy's bringing his own people in. And I know Sean Maloney has his own, or his old role at Celtic, the player pathway development manager. But I just think, given what Maloney's kind of achieved alongside Martin O'Neill in the recent matches and the fact that he knows the squad quite well, and I think the players quite like him, I think it would make sense for him to be part of Nancy's team. But then again, we've also got like Gavin Strachan and Mark Fotheringham and various other people. But to me, Sean Maloney would appear to be the right guy. We're not doing a preview to Hibs tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is going to be a bit of a long one, real insight on Wilfred Nancy. I've been speaking to a couple of people in the States, United States, about him. So tomorrow's video will be a good one. But just give us a wee bit of chat ahead of Sunday. Stevie, it's a tough one, isn't it? Hibs I know they lost in midweek, but they've been doing all right.
Yeah, they've recovered a bit after their 2-week draw against Livingston. But you said they lost against Motherwell. Okay, that's accurate, that's true. But it was more the fact that they get battered, like they get completely done in off them. Like Motherwell deserved it, and it could have been, I think it was something like 9 shots and goal to Hibs 1, but it was more the fact that Motherwell just took control of that game from start to finish. And in all honesty, Hamish, that could have been more than 2 for them. I think Motherwell are a good side, right enough, and they'll do that to a lot of teams in the Premier. So there's no like a disaster for Hibs or anything. So I think they'll want a reaction for that. But it's really interesting because I am part of another sort of Scottish football podcast group, and Hibs fans and that just aren't happy with David Gray just now. They're saying he's maybe taking them as far as they can. So unlucky at the start of the season in Europe. They were, again, 3 ties that they competed very well in and just fell short. And in all honesty, if it wasn't for that Aberdeen Cup final triumph, they'd have been in Europe this season. I think that really had a hammer blow for them, especially financially. But talking in the more immediate circumstances, I think they will be ready to go, and you know how difficult it is at Easter Road. Like, their fans will be demanding a reaction after that, because I think they were really angry after Fir Park. But they've been fairly formidable in most games at Easter Road, other than the fact that they did lose 1-0 to Rangers, although they did miss that last minute penalty, didn't they? I think it's going to be a very fast and frantic game, and you know what it's like after we've played in the Thursday games and a Sunday too. I think people may be expecting us just to carry on the swagger from tonight into Sunday. They're going to be misguided. I wouldn't be shocked as well if in the first 5-10 minutes Hibs gain control of the game. It is always what happens after these Europa League matches, but we'll have moments too. And I do have faith that Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney will set the team up. That is the major thing. Previously, again, into this type of game against Hibs, under Brendan, for example, with that record that he had there, I would have been feeling the worst, and I would have been like, is it going to tinker around with the team too much and make the wrong calls? But I think the managerial team that we've got just now will know what to expect. They'll know it's going to be very difficult, and I think they'll have the right personnel deployed for that game. I do predict a win for it, but I think it's going to be a really tight, ugly and scrappy game, maybe like a 1-0, 2-1 that we've seen at Easter Road plenty of times. We'll have to work for it, but the main thing is just the 3 points, Hamish.
Yeah, I mean the team must have taken some sort of confidence from beating Feyenoord away from home. So hopefully they can take that into Sunday. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a challenging game, and yeah, it could really go any way. But that's kind of exciting. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. It feels like a big game on Sunday. Obviously, with the new manager coming in. After that, it's a real chance just to win the game and really give him the best possible situation to work with. Okay, we'll leave it there. As I say, tomorrow, big Wilfred Nonce video going out. You'll learn loads about him. I really enjoyed doing the 2 interviews. I will be back Monday properly. I think Asim's going to join me on Monday morning's video, looking back in the Hibs game. Just a wee note, we're just over 100 people away from 19,000 subscribers. So if you aren't subscribed, please just click that button. Completely free. It takes 2 seconds out of your life, and we'll get to 19,000 very, very quickly. Stevie, thank you. Catch up with you soon. Everyone else.
Before you go, see when you started this channel back up again, early 2024, remember you got me on like the 2nd or 3rd episode? You must have been thinking there's no chances we're even going to get 19 subscribers when you had my coupon on it. But look at that, 19,000. You know what? You're doing it in spite of me, Hamish, so well done.
Not at all, Stevie. You're the whole reason I'm here, Stevie. See you later, everyone.